Emotion, please.
Can we start?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, good afternoon, students. Today we are trying to learn about OpenAI and a little bit about ChatGPT. That's what we discussed in the last class, that we're going to focus on that. So, let me start. Let me set up my system first. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Okay. So today, students, we are going to talk about something which is, everybody is talking about. The two very important and a trending, topic in AI is about generative AI and conversational AI. So conversational AI, we will talk sometime later, but today we're going to focus on the next generation of AI, which is GPT. Today we have GPT-4 also. So I will start with GPT-3 and then I will tell you also GPT-4. And we will also see certain kinds of demo on that and find out what is this and how important it is and what kind of challenges are there in this. Okay. So let's talk about, OpenAI. So before we actually understand what is the OpenAI, we have to first understand the formation of this AI, OpenAI. So OpenAI is a San Francisco-based company, which has started this concept of OpenAI. Actually, there is no technical concept like OpenAI, but they named it OpenAI, and that is a company which is behind GPT-3. And the it is basically because of the certain kind of a debate or argument which was happening within the AI community. And this debate can be, depending on everybody's, thinking in the mind. The debate asks whether the advancement in AI is on one side of the argument, is going to be very prosperous or beneficial for human being. There is one set of argument on that. Then on other side of the argument, you have in the future where AI can be a threat for humankind. Do we need to get scared? Are we going to lose jobs? All those kinds of debates are there in both the sides. So those who says that AI is a positive force, for example, a book which was written by an American inventor, and he is also an inventor who has written a book called The Age of Spiritual Machine. And this book have was very interesting in a way that uh, the term called spirituality came into existence. So what is the spiritual? Can machine become spiritual? Human being, okay, fine, we can say there is a quotient from IQ, it has gone to EQ, emotional quotient from EQ. Now the organization says that we want EQ, SQ, which is spiritual quotient, so that people are ethical, they have good morale, they know what is bad, what is good ethically, and all those kinds, right? So Ray Kurzweil is an American inventor. He's a futurist. He's also a director in Google on machine learning. And he has written this book where he has said that it will be the AI is going to free up human from more luxurious leisure time. The time which will be available to do a lot of things which now people don't have. They are very busy. It will also enable us to focus more on creativity, the creative pursuit. And on the other hand, there are set of people. Just give me a few seconds. Huh? Just give me. I just have to close the door. Still in the college, and I have to find a place because my room is full of students. Okay. So there are also a set of people who are, the IT experts who have founded big companies like Microsoft and all, like Bill Gates, the CEO of Microsoft. He has also worried that AI is going to be amazing both and dangerous. He also fears, for example, that AI is being applied, if it is applied in a warfare, to manage autonomous weapon, those that search for and destroy target without human intervention. Then there is a very noted name, and I'm very big fan of this person, Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. He has also outspoken many times on social media about his concern related to the advancement of AI. Right. So uh, he also told many things. We'll come to that. And there were also people who are considered as one of the best, expert in the field of AI was late Stephen Hawking. The person who's on the basis of which, on his life, the movie is made, the theory of everything. So he was a very notable theoretical physicist and cosmologist. So they are the people who have always characterized some form of future of AI. It can be in the form of potential human beneficial, or it can be a threat for humanity. So all concerning view, responding to this particular, why I'm telling you, you will understand now why I have to tell you all these kinds of stuff. That why people are saying it's threat, some people are saying no, it is good, all those. So in all these debates, while it was going on from long time, from a decade, and responding to these concern about the future of AI, which is question mark, in 2015, Elon Musk, along with Sam Altman, the former president of startup accelerator Y Combinator, you should know about that company, is really doing very well, and other investors like the founder of LinkedIn, Reid Hoffman, Peter, Thai, the co-founder of PayPal, they created OpenAI. Okay, and they are the people who said that the OpenAI objective was to benefit human beings. AI is a term where people are still scared and say that only few people who know about AI can use it. Can common man use AI? How can it help common man? And the concept of AI for the benefit of human being, open to all, common for all, technology available to all, was the concept bought by these people. And they floated this company called OpenAI. Okay, so the company name is OpenAI. And then what happened? There are many corporations who were, because this is a non-profitable company. So many corporations became a founding member of, or the of this company, like Microsoft, Infosys. So by acknowledging their concern about the risk of future AI and committing that it can, the main objective of this company is to prevent the risk of future AI. Okay, and what kind of threat AI can process, minimize that. So the partner, they formed an open AI to promote and develop friendly AI in a manner which is going to benefit human beings. So to demonstrate their commitment together, the founding team pledge, all these people who have big companies, the founding members of big companies, they came together and pledged $1 million to create this organization. And their mission was very clear. The mission was OpenAI could focus on ensuring that the artificial intelligence, or AGI, the AGI is the the general artificial general intelligence, so would benefit the world. It would build a safe AGI. We will consider, they consider that their mission and objective of making this company can be fulfilled if it is AI is available as a friendly AI to all, to everybody, and let the people use it and find it friendly and remove that fear of threat, the future threat. So organization began in 2016 with 9 researchers, and by April of that year, 2016 April, they released the 2015. This company was formed with the objective of the curating an AI for everyone and helping everybody. So in 2016, they launched their first product called OpenAI Gym. Okay, you should know all these things because sometimes when you go for an interview, they ask you all this. And a toolkit for developing and comparing. So AI was based on a concept of learning, which we have, or maybe you by now, you people might have known it, that three kind of learning happens in AI or through machine learning. One is supervised, unsupervised, and third is reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is a very advanced AI where a particular machine learn by trial and error method. That means it learns on its own. The way we learn, the human being learn. So we learn something formally under a supervision of college teachers and school teachers or parents. Those are supervised learning, unsupervised learning, where we learn on our own from the environment, from our mistake, from so many things, from our events in the life. Reinforcement is sometimes we try something like you're trying a business, you try it, you fail in that particular business. Okay. So the organization began as a, so April of that year, they released their, so what has happened is that, I told you all this thing, that April 2016, the first version was OpenAI Gym. And in 2016, the in December 2016, OpenAI released something called Universe. And in the first version of OpenAI Gym, which was based on reinforcement learning algorithm, and reinforcement learning is when a computer, as I said, employs trial and error method to come up with a solution to a problem. And the AI will receive on the basis if it has come with a desired outcome, rewards, or penalty for the action if it is a faulty outcome. In December 2016, OpenAI released Universe. The next product version of the product called Universe, and the platform for enabling the AI software to interact with the computer, such as viewing what's on the screen, using a virtual keyboard and a mouse. These were the things. These solutions were followed by several more application in machine learning space. And in 2018, the OpenAI published a paper on generative pre-training, and it became something called GPT. So the full form of GPT is generative predefined techniques. Okay. So the detail of this generative model, I will discuss that in the later slides. So much of these, there were a lot of coding behind AI, which is produced OpenAI. It's an open source. It is freely available. That's why it's called OpenAI. Basically, the main objective is to encourage transparency, learning, the dissemination and the benefit, advancement, especially for the learning, the coding community. The latest version of GPT, version 3, the subject of this particular course or particular session today is what I am going to focus on. And then I will also try to tell you about GPT-4 and what is the technology and the technique behind GPT-4, what's the difference between GPT-3 and GPT-4, okay? And maybe in few months, you may have the different versions of GPT which will come up, okay? So the reason of OpenAI provided so various kinds of mixed reasons came up for, people sometime in the media said that it is for monetization, these people have opened this, they said it is for benefit of human being, it is free, but there's all these things. Some people said that they fear the kind of a challenges it's going to create. Lot of talks, lot of offensive, lot of litigations happen. In 2019, the AI company, OpenAI, dropped a designation as they very clearly announced in the media. Once they were saying that a lot of speculation in the media about that why they are saying it is not open. There will be some kind of benefit, because by that time already Microsoft has invested $1 million. And they said, Microsoft, why will they invest? Like how Facebook invested when $3 million in the what you called WhatsApp, and WhatsApp had no revenue model because it had no ad or nothing like that. So everybody thought that why WhatsApp is investing $3 million in buying, Facebook is invested $3 million in buying WhatsApp. And today you find they didn't answer that, but today you have a lot of business accounts which is sending a lot of spam kind of messages to you, tracking you, doing a lot of things, and the data which they gather through WhatsApp is of great use for them, and they use it for target marketing. So there is nothing which the company invests is just because for the benefit. Every investment, every penny of the investment has certain kind of a motive, and it will be always a profit motive. So everybody started saying that, okay, Microsoft invested $1 billion, why they have invested. So to respond to these particular kind of a speculation in media, in 2019, OpenAI company drops its designation and clearly stated on their site that, I'll take you to the site, it says that it is a pure non-profit organization. And later on, when after few months itself, there was a conflicting statement by Microsoft. It said that they have invested in OpenAI because they want to use the GPT-3 technique in their star product, which is Microsoft Office. And I will tell you also how it is used. Okay, I can't show you, but I can tell you, maybe because it's not built up yet, but then I read it somewhere and I saw some videos on how it has been interpreted or it is integrated into Excel or Word, and how Word, Excel, and PowerPoint is going to become more powerful, with this. So this has done. There are other companies who have also invested in this company, and AI now has become a profitable company. Started with the motive of non-profit organization, but has now become a profit enterprises. Microsoft has also, going ahead, and Microsoft is now controlling. So Microsoft became the OpenAI preferred partner for licensing its technology for anybody, any client or something like that. And they have also integrated the powered AI platform, existing powered AI platform of Microsoft. There also they have integrated this predefined generative technique of AI. And also, so a lot of their other new services, Microsoft is starting with its GPT. Elon Musk involvement in OpenAI decreased after 2018 because he's a person, whatever he says, he stands by it. His main purpose of becoming a founding partner of OpenAI was to give benefit or open it for the normal, for everyone, and let everybody enjoy it. But when he saw that it became from non-profit organization became a profit organization, he left the organization. And so this is one kind of a thing which is there. But his investment as a donor, he remained as a donor, but not a member of the board. Okay, so there is a remarkable success in GPT-3. GPT-3 became very, very famous in 2022 when it was launched. And it became a breakthrough because everybody started talking. Though GPT was launched in 2018, but GPT-3 version became an instant hit. Okay, people started talking about it. Okay, so let's talk about the OpenAI charter now. So OpenAI organization is distinguished not just by their track record of coming out with GPT-3 and very successful success of that story, with many kind of implication of future AI. They come out with a lot of research papers. I'm going to show you their site about their research paper, which is on AI, which is openly available for everybody. And this can be read by the people who are pursuing their career in artificial intelligence. Please go through these research paper, which will tell you in the future what's going to happen and what is already being researched, which has not come into the market. So OpenAI mission is something which was to benefit the people and all, is slowly diminishing. Okay, so the approach of AI is not novel now to the OpenAI. Machine ethics is also something which people are talking about. So people are all ever I heard one of my students going for an interview, and she said that, ma'am, I was asked by one of the MNC, an American company, about machine ethics. And I was surprised that how can a machine have ethics? Ethics are related only to human beings. So how do you have ethics in machine? How do you build ethics in machine? So Mateen, ethics, which include ethics of AI, is a very debatable topic again. And there are a lot of universities, philosophers, corporate researchers, even the government is involved in that. Okay? And they are talking about this. So there are a lot of books, a lot of papers being published in terms of machine ethics. If those who want to go for some kind of a research or publication, this is a very interesting topic. This topic also became very interesting for AI regulation and legislation, because till today, the regulation and legislation related to the development and the use of application of AI in the field of business, in the field of day-to-day work or whatever it is not defined very well by any country. In United Arab Emirates, for example, there is a Ministry of AI whose purview includes the ethics of AI. They are the first ministry who said that we need to introduce the ethics of AI. So machine ethics include what? These are some researchable topics. Machine ethics includes complex area like biasness in AI. Can AI be biased? Okay. Weaponization. I think there is some person, Chandrakant or somebody whose mic is on. A lot of. Okay, thank you. So weaponization, morality, robotic autonomy, whether robot will be autonomous on their own. Chandrakant Hubli, can you mute yourself, please?
Yeah, ma'am, I muted it, ma'am.
And the liabilities. Okay, who is liable? For example, as I told you that Google driverless car is totally on AI technology, AI and sensors, IoT and more. Who's liable if the car met with an accident and there's nobody in the car? Will the company be liable? So a legal framework is not ready for these kinds of technology to be included in our day-to-day life. If robots are, doing some mistake, can they be hanged? If they kill human being, what will be the legal? Anyway, so all these kinds of liabilities, who's liable for these kinds of development, if something happens, or is there a legal framework for that? That is a kind of things which are discussed in machine ethics. So some of most of you, those who are interested in AI, please also make sure that you have certain knowledge about ethics of AI. Nowadays, that's a trend because they know that you know everything about coding and all. That's why you're prepared and come. But they may ask you offbeat questions like this, spiritual machine ethics. These are the certain very important topics, which are coming. Just okay. Sorry. So, in 2019, an attempt was made to capture certain principles by which they execute their mission on the basis of including some of these concerned. So OpenAI company published a charter, which is there on the site. If you want, you can go to the site called openai.com/charter. And this was a document which is a codified expression of their strategy. And the basis of developing this particular document was the feedback which they have received from inside and outside the organization. The important fact which goes beyond in this particular document was a value system which the OpenAI will imbibe. So it can provide an inspiration and guidance to others who are looking to adopt a similar approach to AI, because nowadays when you go for an interview, they may ask these kinds of questions. So if you go through this document, it's going to really help you, because you will learn that what OpenAI, which is a talk of town, people are saying, some people are saying ban GPT, it is creating the killing the human, everybody's job, it's going to do this, that, and all. So all those kinds also we are going to discuss. But then the what kind of guidance and what kind of standard you should follow to maintain the ethics. Okay, so I will recommend that each one of you read the charter, and you have this link available over here. It's called openai.com/charter. Okay, and this is on the screen. That has main 4 principles. I will discuss those principles. Sure, in some of the exams also for AI, they ask this question. One of my daughter's friend got this question when she was applying for a job in Daylight, and they asked about what are the 4 basic principles of OpenAI. Yeah. Okay. So the first benefit of artificial general intelligence, AGI, is that it should be enjoyed by everyone. That means artificial general intelligence should be for everyone. It should not remain only for the programmer, coders, for the company. It should be available for everyone. The focus should remain on advantage to all humanity. That it should be for the benefit of humanity, for the humanity, and available to all. Okay. And the second AGI research and development should be safe. Whatever research and development in future advancement in AI is happening, it should be safe. It should be for the benefit of human being, not cause any threats. So in addition, it's particularly, you can note in this particular thing from competitors between the companies, right? And to speed up or to gain more profit, the companies come up with something, certain but better feature using AI, and that harms the human, or that harms or poses a threat. So OpenAI will not compete and will instead partner and assist the competitor. So the third OpenAI principle says that it should strive to be leader in both AI, artificial intelligence, and AGI, as knowledge of cutting edge capabilities of the technologies, right? And it should be again for the benefit of human being. AI which is available for certain set of people who understand those things, like coders, programmers. And AGI is the artificial general intelligence, which is available to all. So finally, they are committed to something called broad collaboration. So all the company, whether it is IBM, it is Google, or it is Microsoft, or it is Apple, Tesla, any companies who are involved in the research, they should collaborate, come out with a collaborative research, even with universities and all. They should collaborate their result and come out with a uniform or universal policies, which can be across the world. That these are the standard, like how when www was formed, there's a nobody control the internet, but there is a uniform standard or protocol in the form of all kinds of protocol like TCP and all. Everything is there, and that protocol is followed by automatically in the form of technologies. If you want to break that protocol, you can't do. The technology is built on those protocols. So that is how the policy should be formed. Okay. So they actually, the main purpose is that the AGI community across the planet should come together, collaborate, and also understand the challenges, need to address those challenges, come out with a policy so that it should not be misused. It should be for benefit of human being and all those. So there are common 2 ideas which we can take away from OpenAI charters. The number 1 is that we should recognize the novel and unique nature of this organization, the organization called OpenAI. and its mission to benefit human beings and open the AI for everyone, which is AGI. And it was born and live on the foundation, as I said, on of AGI, not AI. So AI, AGI foundation and the principle on which it was born, that it should be created safely and for the good of humanity should be maintained. Okay. So any two these principles can be leveraged to develop AGI charter for any organization. So when a company, when AGI is developed, or when a particular charter is developed by any company to say that this is our limitation, beyond this we won't go, then they should follow certain charter. And now commonly follow charter is OpenAI charter. That's the reason I'm continuously enforcing or continuously emphasizing or pointing on the charter of OpenAI, that if you're going for an interview to any company related to AI, read that anyway, because that's going to give you an idea and make you stand out from those people who don't know about this. Okay. So, and ultimately, AI, let us understand the technology behind GPT-3. Okay. One of the technology which is behind, because GPT-3 is basically mostly, especially I'm going to talk about Chat GPT-3 also, but the core feature of GPT-3 is to the ability to utilize NLP, natural language processing. Okay. I conduct before this a natural NLP session, but because they told that you had a lot of AI sessions, so I dropped this. So one of the core feature of GPT-3 is the ability to observe large amount of content which is available on the net, use it and create an original output which emulates human-based text. Like for example, I am a professor. In my job, I'm supposed to write a lot of original or research paper. Now, I may suppose if I want to write, let's say, on metaverse in HR, and I may read a lot of literature on that, which is available on net. Like many researcher might have published many articles, many in journals. I'll read that, accumulate, put it, compile it, put my own view. That will be my original idea. So originality is very important here. Doesn't mean that it is pure scientific original content. The content has always recreated. It's a recreation with certain kind of addition of your thought and creativity. So GPT-3 generate those content from the existing database, existing text which is available, and it create a new original output, just like a human being, like I gave example. So the quality of the output is so high that it is often distinguished. Just a minute. So the quality of output is so high that it is often distinguished it from the something written by the person. So if you are taking an output, for example, I will just show you that if I want to write something original, but there are many people who have written about that particular topic. Okay, let's say G20 summit. I want to write something. But when I search on Google, I find that there are 1,000 articles, news articles, papers, many things which are available. But I want to read that and I want to write my own view also. So I will read those content and write something on my own. What GPT-3 does, they also give the output where they can take the previously existing content, summarize it, and after summarizing it, create an original output out of that, which will look like a new content. Okay, that's what the GPT-3 does. Regeneration of the content, the existing content. So the quality of output is very high. And often, it is difficult to distinguish it from something written by the person, whether it is AI written or human written. Okay. So, but when we talk about this, people always say that, especially in the student community, the student says that, ma'am, GPT-3 is Chat GPT-3 especially is very helpful for the students because they can write their original assignment and submit. They can just write it and the AI will write it and they are not caught. There's no plagiarism. There's no similarity index. It will look like original. They get full marks. You can write MCQs, you can write poems, you can write anything, story or anything like that. So people think that's the only feature, but this is not the only feature of GPT-3. Okay. This is one of the central feature of GPT-3, which is called pre-generative. To enable and support a high quality output, how does it work? I'll talk about that. A number of AI techniques are employed. Okay. GPT-3 utilized an approach that is an intersection of AI, computer science, human language called natural language processing. Okay. So understanding of NLP is very, very important in GPT-3. So if you learn now GPT-3 technique, those who are aiming for this, you will have an added competitive advantage because this is something which is new. Okay, generative AI. So it can help you in further, coming out with a breakthrough of GPT-3 advanced version. So let us take an example of NLP in action. Okay, so I'll show you that. Let's begin with an example of NLP in action. Many of us know about those smart speakers which take voice command to a digital device. So one of that is Amazon Alexa or Google Home. So we ask our smartphone and laptop through voice with all manners of request. Play our this Arijit Singh song, or play this. So this device listen to your words, right? Whatever words you are telling, and try to make sense of them. It derive meaning, process the input, and then execute some action, such as providing direction or playing your song, just like now I said. Okay. So this is done through technique of AI called NLP, natural language processing. The same technology that makes sense of voice command can also be applied to text input on computers. And this enable function, such as, for example, you use the same enabling function in chatbots, search engine, language translation, spell check, sentiment analysis of review. If you remember one of the session I told about review, positive, negative, and all that sentiment analysis of review on e-commerce sites. The process that classifies emotion also in subjective language, right? How do you understand emotion from a written text? That is also one of the field of NLP. So NLP, this is NLP hard at work in the background, but state-of-the-art software. So at a high level, the NLP generally works like this. The software need to pre-process the text in sentence, okay, in order to provide some form of the structure that can be used on the basis of interpretation. So one or more of the following can be used. For example, the sentence broken into words. So in NLP, when the entire sentence is broken into words, like for example, this is the sentence. If the entire sentence in NLP is broken into word, which is called tokenization. Okay. Even in GPT also we have tokens. I'll talk about GPT-4 and tokens. So the individual words are known as token. For example, here he is known as 1, 2. Okay. So, and also the punctuation, these are not tokens. The punctuation, unnecessary punctuations are removed. 2 words can be identified and tagged as noun. Any word, can be, but then after tokenization, they tag the word as noun, then verb, adjective, and the different forms of. So this is a tokenization which happens. Every word is, you can see the all kind of punctuation is removed. And after this, what they do is they tag every word as what form of, grammar it is, part of speech it is, noun, verb, adjective, pronouns, etc., etc., right? And the third is the application. After they do this, I'm just telling you how the one small example of NLP. So these individual words are called token, as I said. So each words are standardized and put into the context, which is the third, category, which is called stemming. This is NLP. I'm telling you a little bit before I go ahead. GPT work. For that, you have to understand NLP. So after tokenization and identifying or tagging it as a part of speech, it goes for the third thing, which is called application of stemming. And this is where the words are standardized and put in the context by reducing them to the root form. Okay. So root form means, for example, word bank, banker, banking, or same word but different kinds of thing which is associated with the root word called bank. From root word bank, you can create banker, banking, all these kinds. So the root word here is bank, which is stem. And that root word would be used to assign the context to all the other two financial institutions, not the act of turning an aircraft. Okay. So this bank word is now categorized that bank is a word which is in the category which belongs to the category of finance, not the airline industry or aircraft industry. That's how the AI recognizes. Once the text has been pre-processed, the machine learning or ML algorithm is used to interpret the data. Okay. And this algorithm uses statistical model based on vast volume of example data called training data. If you remember last class, when I taught you about the Doom Code AI, there also we have created a training data set, and we trained the AI model to take the training data set, and depending on that particular training data set, identify or categorized. Similarly, the ML algorithm here uses a statistical model, a mathematical model based on the vast volume of data sets, which is called training data set, to suggest what action to be performed. Is the pre-process. So when the pre-processed text is analyzed by ML algorithm, it looks for words, phrases, and a pattern of texts that are similar from training data. Are you understanding what I said? Like how we did for dog and mob, if you remember. So if I put something which is not into the training data set, let's say I put a picture of a particular dog, and that particular picture of the dog is not there in the training data set which you created. So what the ML will do, what the ML algorithm is going to do, it is going to look for the picture which, or the pattern in the picture, or maybe some similar characteristic in the picture, which can make it understand through that training data that which particular category does it belong to. Okay. So pattern is very important. So here in terms, it is not the pictures which is taking, it is looking for word and phrases and pattern of the text that are familiar from the training data, which is similar to training data, which are same characteristic of the editing. So if there is a high probability that the word and context are understood. So the NLP now known the topic of the text. So NLP now can be used as something else which is called natural language generation. And that's a concept which is used in GPT-3. So NLP, which recognized the tokens, which are words broken into from the sentence and then put as categorized or tagged. Then NLP used the training data set to understand the words. Same NLP is now used in GPT-3 in the form of NLG, natural language generation. And the process analyze, again, it has the same process. Pre-process of text where it will break the sentence into tokens, words, which is tokens, removing all kinds of punctuation, interpretate it as a part of the speech, and then again, use the training data set to understand each word which is there in the training data set and take the insight from that particular input and generate a new content. So take all the available data and generate a new content which is which explain the same thing, but it's a new content which is not available. So this is the capability which is applied in GPT-3. As I said, that GPT-3 stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. And we are talking about GPT-3 is a version 3. A name like that was the name was created by people that know nothing about marketing. So they just said that whatever is the technique used, we will use the same name abbreviation. That's why people say, what is GPT-3? Why the name GPT-3 for this? So the technician gave the name GPT-3 because the technique was generative pre-trained transformer. Okay. So that's why the name it is, because in one of the interview, one of the student was asked about why the name GPT-3, because it is the name given by the developer of this particular technology. The developer technology was generative pre-trained transformer, and there was no specific reason. These were not people from management or for marketing that they'll give a fancy name. They just thought, because it is this name, let us give the name as an abbreviation of that words. So GPT-3 is uses the advanced algorithm and the set of rules for it uses the set of rules for problem solving that computer follows. Lot of data is fed to create original human-like text, which is the output. Natural language processing is the technique. Just now I told, natural language processing technique of AI is used to produce something which is called NLG, which I told, natural language generation. The quality of output which GPT-3 produce is very, very good. And it is, you can say that impossible it is for the human being to say that this is not generated by, this is something which is generated by a machine, not by human being. The kind of vocabulary and everything it uses. So GPT-3 can create meaningful stories, poems. It can frame an email, a professional email. And most of the time, we struggle, in organization, we hire some people who are content writers, like making blogs, or you want to come up with a slogan, you want to write some email to an important client, you want to thank your client, you want to write invitations, you don't know, you want to create a brochure, or you want to create a flyer, you don't know how to write the perfect content, which is very good, which is very engaging, and at the same time it provides all kind of information. So GPT-3 can do that. Okay. It can create all those kinds of emails for you. It will create all kinds of content for you and original content. It will also create a response for a chatbot. Even the software coding, this is something which is really dangerous, because you people have to now start thinking, because now no longer you require a coder, because GPT-3, you just write, I'll show you, to say that I want to write a certain code for particular application using Python, it will write that code, which will be mostly correct. Okay. So it can do that, and it will do in few seconds. Right. Few prompt from you. Prompt means questions from you. Okay. So let's take a look at how GPT-3, based in some training data, was able to change legal jargon into plain English. Okay. So all of you know that I feel very difficult when there is some kind of a legal contract, even it can be in the form of your appointment letter from a company, and the company will give you 4-5 pages contract with all kinds of something. And whenever you go for insurance or for FD, for home loan, there will be a booklet of contract, legal contract, which comes, which have legal jargons and so many words, and you fail to understand. So what you do is, the bank person will come, he will put a cross and say, sign here, sign here, sign here, and you sign without reading. Because it's, even if you want to read and understand, it is very difficult. Okay. So we struggle with this reading really contract. So GPT-3, based on generative model of language, will use the existing knowledge of the language to come up with some very understandable English of, and make this contract, summarize it. You can say that, suppose it's a 6-page content, you feed, and you say that I want 5 pages or 1-page summary in simple English to understand what is a contract for LIC, for life insurance, for this, or for FD, or for anything. It will come out with that. I'm not saying that you can scan and you do it. That is also available now in Chat GPT 4. But let's see this. So we get a word generated in generative predefined transformer or GPT-3. Okay, and it will through it, it's going to the basic funda is a generative model where it use the existing knowledge wherever in whatever language and vocabulary it is written. It will predict and change the vocabulary of that. It will make the prediction, and it will come out with the new content, new corpus of content. So in this particular model of generative, we use the training data, which is acquired from variety of sources. The training data can be from Wikipedia, or it can be from a common any sites, or it can be certain written stories or some articles from the journal, news journals and all, which you can get it from the internet. So to help make the system smart, as we say that we should have a smart system, and AI is smart, it makes everything smart. So text is randomly removed from acquired content. What it does, while it is creating a new content from the acquired content, it will remove certain text from there. And the software is trained to fill in those words with the correct alternative of the word. Now, sometime when I was teaching this, one of the students told me, ma'am, you can use quilt code. He said, ma'am, can't we use paraphrasing software? And what is the difference between a paraphrasing software and a GPT-3? Why do we need this? And I said that in paraphrasing, what it does, it creates synonyms of the word. And it may come up with a content. So you put certain paragraph and you want to paraphrase it. It paraphrases it with the synonyms of the word. And the content remain the same. Right? For example, in 21st century, the advancement of technology is very rapid if you write that. So it will change the word advancement into progressive, or certain words which sometime we'll not understand. So those kind of paraphrasing doesn't happen in GPT-3. So what it does, it basically removes certain content, replace it. And there's not only one from one source it takes. It takes from different sources, thousands and thousands of content from various sources, compile it and make. It's like 5 people coming up with one word and making a story. This is what I'm coming up with. Okay. So the word pre-training is called generative pre-training transformation. This is where we say the missing word is trained. So the software is trained to fill in with the new words and with the new content into it, so that it come out with the new content which altogether look like that, okay, these two paragraph doesn't look similar, it is totally different. So it is not paraphrasing. You can do paraphrasing in GPT-3 also. So the pre-trained content is totally different, not a paraphrase content. Okay. And also it uses something called deep learning, which is based on 70 years of research in neural network. Neural network, that these are the network which is powered by AI learning, and neural network also, because every AI consumes a lot of training data. So for an AI powered recognition system to learn for example, what a bicycle is, okay. Just a minute. So these are the one which I told you. Let's look at this example, okay. So let's say we are using an AI system, a recognition system we are developing to learn what bicycle is and identify that bicycle from a picture of various kinds of transportation. So it must analyze a large volume of existing bicycle picture. That means you have to feed training data of all kinds of bicycle. Today we have so many types of bicycle available in the market. One is the mountain bicycle, gear bicycle, non-gear, some bicycles with a thick tire, some bicycles have certain features which are not available in some. So many new types of bicycles, different colors, different, but it will have certain common features, like bicycle means 2 tires, it will have pedal, it will have all those handles and all certain common features. So you put all kinds of pictures of bicycle into the training data set. And the neural network technology, which I told in the last class also, which basically neural network name means it mimic the human brain, the neural network brain structure in our human being. So the network or neural network consists of a web of connected nodes, the computational units, and this neural network is used in GPT-3. So neural network means there are a lot of interconnected nodes or computational units, which will have different data sets stored into it. And all these data sets, for example, if you create one data set where you have pictures of bicycles, it may go wrong. So what it does, it uses all the computational unit in one particular network, the nodes in one network, and see all kinds of data available on bicycle, the pictures available on the bicycle, and then generate the content. Okay. So it is very good in taking here in the GPT, chat GPT-3, it is basically on text. Okay. But GPT-4 is now taking care of the pictures also. Okay. Where you can feed pictures and you can do certain things from there. It's like this is how the different kinds of nodes and how in different nodes it can find the content from all the nodes, comprise all the things and come out with the and generative content from all these nodes, from all the data which is available. So data will move through nodes based on certain criteria. Okay, in the GPT. So in neural network, all data will collect certain data which has certain basic characteristic or criteria. And one of these criteria is weight or strength of connection between nodes. There are different techniques which are used. So when criteria are not met, data does not get processed from those nodes. So if it does, it moves to another node. This repeat until the data rise transformed at the end of the neural network here. Okay. From here, the prompt comes and the data moves based on the criteria. The data is accepted or rejected from different nodes, and it collects the data from every nodes which is similar in nature, and then bring it to the last one where the data become transformed at the end of this particular network, and GPT-3 transform and generate the new content from these data which is gathered. Similar kind of data. So this makes GPT-3 a game changer. And before this, there were two versions of GPT, GPT-2 and 1.5. GPT-2 actually had more than 2 billion, followers or people using it. GPT-3 had 175 billion. It was million initially, and now 175 billion people are using chat GPT-3 or GPT-3, which has become so popular and famous. And that means it is 10 times the size of the largest NLP model. Okay, and not NLP, NLG model. And this is now owned by Microsoft, as I told you. So it's really very, very big. Okay, the model parameters is based on data, all kind of training set of data available in different machines or different nodes, which I already told you, which is used by GPT-3. So the process of learning from the data, the algorithm stores, whenever they learn from every data in the nodes, the algorithm store a value of that in a model. Okay, and each parameter assists with the increasing probability of correct output in the form of test prediction, which is very accurate and relevant. So more data set, better nodes in the network is available, higher is the likelihood of the quality of prediction. So in GPT-3, the sentence beginning, like I have told you initially, here, if we go back to this particular thing, like if the sentence begins with something called, if you suppose want to test GPT-3, okay, so you write once upon and you leave it. Now, what it will do, there can be a lot of possibility here. Once upon a time, there was a king. If you want to tell to a small kid, So it has a close to law guaranteed probability of lot of correct computation. Okay. So AI capability is the degree to which the human must provide it answer or must ask the input in a correct format. Then only the AI will predict accurately and the quality of the solution will be good. Suppose if I go and very precisely tell the AI to translate certain text from English to French, the input is very precise. So when we say that, AI immediately will do that because it knows that what exactly you want. So if you write once and upon a time, it is very vague, but still AI will do it. So, but you may not get what kind of what into. So it is very important that what kind of prompt and what kind of command you are giving. Okay. So or also, for example, if I'm writing certain kinds of parameters, these are certain things which I told you. Okay. Like for example, when we feed the input, there are certain input which are not very clearly defined, not very clearly written, maybe in different language. Then in that case, will the algorithm know how to analyze this, how to translate? And that is where the NLP comes into picture, where the NLP can take the input also, which is very vague, which has error, which has certain things which are incorrect or which is not properly done. So it can be varied kind of input it can take. Okay, and that is also something in the AI which says that the language translated from zero shot, and that's called zero shot learning. Okay, so without any guidance, without using the technique of NLP, it will generate energy. Okay, and it will give you a one shot learning or zero shot learning. So GPT-3 look for a vast pattern of language modeling in at present. It may look into the vast language modeling and give you the right answer. So if we give GPT-3 more example, we may get a better result. So example, suppose if we write like this, a word cheese is input. Okay. And so if we enter the word cheese and we are waiting for AI to translate, right? Since the algorithm does not know what language to translate it to, it's not going to be able to do anything. That's again something which is a zero learning, because you have to give the learning to the instruction properly in the form of the input, which is again a learning, because it's a reinforcement learning. So the first learning where you are just writing cheese and you want it to get translate, you have not given up a perfect instruction. So there is no guidance, so there is no learning for the AI. So if we now, however, if we instead feed the AI with friends equal to AMI and then query what cheese equals to. Now it has something to work with. This is also something called one-shot learning. So what GPT-3 looks for? A pattern now. Now this pattern will use a vast language model to get a right answer. And finally, we give GPT-3 more example. Let's say like that. Okay. So we give GPT-3 more example, which is called few shot learning. Like house equal to Mason, friends equal to army, rain equals to QE, then query what she is equal to. So one shot learning, we gave only one choice. In few shot learning, we gave GPT a lot of choice to train itself and come out with a. So we have in few shot learning, we have a likelihood of getting the output which is more desirable, which is more correct, accurate. So the likelihood of GPT-3 getting the right answer in this few shot learning is great. Okay. So depending on what GPT-3 is being tasked with, it has been shown to provide good result in each, whether it is a zero shot learning, like for example, it will give the answer from these training set. So you are training very well and guiding the GPT-3 that I want this particular output. The GPT and the GPT-3 understand that you want, because these are the translation which is done in certain language. So the translation of friend is Emmy in what language, and rain is this. So the same language, cheese transformation is from nature. And it comes up with that particular thing. So you have to train GPT. So sometimes it is in the prompt. And then it gives you. So these are called one shot, zero shot. In the first case, it was zero shot. Then it became one shot. Then it became few shot. With a few shot, it will have a better results. Okay, it will have a better training for GPT. Okay, so depending on what GPT-3 is being tasked with, it is being shown to provide a good result. As I said, either it is the zero shot, one shot, or few shot learning. So GPT-3 is not being made, initially it was not made freely available, but with the public API all available and in certain condition in late 2020, Microsoft resumed the control of the source data also. And the company, when they invested $1 million, it also is fascinating to know that how Microsoft incorporate GPT-3 capability, as I told you, into Word, Excel, and Bing. Okay, and so this already I told you. So how Microsoft has what Microsoft is going to do with the GPT-3 is something which you people should know very clearly. So Microsoft is trying to use GPT-3 into Word, into Excel, and into the Bing also, their search engine. And it provide the service, some services which is on the cloud platform, Microsoft Azure platform. There also they're going to use GPT. Okay, and that is the time now it is available free, but that will be the time when you have to pay for this technology. Okay, and GPT-3 will become a paid service. Okay, now let's take some example of GPT-3. GPT-3 was released for the experimentation in 2020 for the audience. And we have seen a lot of remarkable demonstration, a lot of solution. Many people, even you might have used, everybody might have used it. The degree to which GPT-3 will be, incorporated in future by the Microsoft, and will it become a, pricing or not, still is a question mark, because Microsoft doesn't want to lose the popularity of GPT-3. It wants people to taste GPT-3 free of cost. And then when the customer is willing to pay, when the customer mindset and the consumer mindset is ready, then they may ask consumer to pay for the service. So there are many early demonstration of the technology which are which we can look into this now. So let's start with GPT-3 running as a function within Google Sheet. Okay, now I tried to find out that version today, but I was not able to get it. But I can tell you that what happens. So what happens, I will give you one example how GPT-3 will be used as one of the very important AI built tool into Excel. So let's say, for example, let me see if I put some example on it. Okay. Okay, so it's not there in this. So what you can do is you can, in GPT-3, in Google Sheet, suppose I want to find out the population of certain country in US, certain states in US. I know the population of 4 states in US. Like I write any 4 state of US, their population I know in 2023. It is available on net, I write. There is one more state, let's say Michigan, and I don't know the population of that. It is not available. So what I will do now, I will use GPT-3 function. I will write Michigan, and I will write in that GPT-3 and equal to, and I will take all the 4 states of US whose population I have mentioned in the Excel sheet. I'll take the cell range of that and write equal to GPT-3 in the bracket, the cell range of all the cell where I've entered the population of those states. Automatically, the what it will do is, it will take the 4 states population, which is already mentioned as a parameter, process the information, determine a pattern, just like how I have shown about cheese, and fill in the missing information. It will derive the population of Michigan, which may be available somewhere I was not able to find out. So the database should be available. The data should be available. Otherwise, it won't find out. It will say, sorry, we don't, or sorry, this information is not found. For 2023, the information is not available. That is how it is used. So you can see, we can change the name of the state, and or maybe we can add certain additional information and use the GPT-3 smart tool in Excel to pull the missing information from the net. That will be the change in the Microsoft Office now. Okay, so you recall that the previous example of cheese, which is called one shot, zero shot, and few shot learning. So the this example will be used in the GPT-3 in Microsoft Excel special. The next word widely it will be used. Now the word, you write the content, you edit the content and make a document. But in the word, you can now generate the content. You can write a story automatically. You don't have to think and write on your own words. So that will be the thing which Microsoft is going to introduce and cost you. They will charge you for that when you are ready to pay for it. When everybody knows what is GPT-3 and everybody wants to use GPT. So they're just creating a want in you. So in the next more advanced example of GPT-3 is the processing of some text and create computer code based on what has been written. In other words, you see here is someone simply typing, in description that you can writing that programming, you use a certain programming software or a language, and you ask that particular, GPT-3 to generate a coding for that. It will do. Okay. So these are things which are going to happen. And GPT-3 hasn't passed the Turing test yet. Okay, that is one thing which you have to know. So the GPT-3, and these are some examples which I'm going to tell you about the OpenAI which is available. This one I have already told you in one of the sessions. The person does not exist.com, where you can use, this is a site where you can go and come out with a face which doesn't match with any faces existing on net. That means using AI, you can generate a unique face. Okay. And GPT-3 already I have told you that it can develop a quiz for you. Okay. It can develop a chat, it can for you, all those kinds, right? So GPT-3 is, I'm just going to skip this part because this is going to be little, I want to talk more about, the GPT-4. So these are certain things which it can do, like you can, correct a pattern using anything. You can create a new pattern in it. That is one more example. So demo I will show you later once I complete this. What are the challenges and limitation? There are a lot of advancement, lot of accomplishment. Sam Altman, who's currently the CEO of OpenAI company, has created a lot of hype, and he also admit that there's a lot of hype created on GPT-3. People are talking a lot about that, and he considered GPT-3, is going to advance further in future and will have a huge scope in the form of business. There's a huge opportunity which is lying up, and also for the people who want to make their career should have a better understanding of this thing. And but though we always say that whether it is going to be a narrow AI or a strong AI, that is also a question mark, because now at present it is a narrow AI, but it is going to become a strong AI where it is going to develop anything from without feeding any data. Okay, so that is one thing which is going to come up. So GPT-3 is in fact at present is related to textual data. Okay, but pictorial data is also going to be the main source of data. millions of text data, millions of phrases, millions of words which are available on the internet can be considered as a training data. And GI is used for regenerating the data from there. Okay. It uses the reinforcement learning, which I already told you. Development cost is little high now. Output error is really more. I'll show you in the demo that it has certain output error, which is really bad. You put a sum, it may give you a wrong method also. But then if you say that it is not correct, it will take that, it will say sorry, and it will try to include that into learning process. Okay. Lot of shortcoming, there are a lot of imperfection in the output based on input. There's a lot of human biasness, which is also there in the chat GPT, sorry, GPT-3. Then short text and large text is also there. Just skip this and I go to GPT-4. Okay, fine. Let us. Just let me go to. Okay, fine. Okay, let's talk about GPT-4. Forget about GPT-3. Okay. So over the last few months, GPT and Chat GPT has become a very popular buzzword. We all know about it. Uses natural language processing. It uses a AI model architect, which are called transformer. Okay. And recently, a team of researchers from Google started writing a paper. They started writing in 2017, actually. And the paper got released recently on for public. And the paper is called, and this particular publication is called Attention is All You Need. And this talked about something called large language model. At present, GPT-3 till GPT-3 version, it was using something called small language model. But it came up with something called large language model, which uses the component of transformer as a part of their architecture. So very important thing here to note is that you can interact with these model with plain English text called prompt. Okay. For example, you can say something like summarize the following text. 6 pages, 7 pages into 1 page, or maybe 5,000 words into 500 words. And provide the text. The large language model will respond with the summarized version of the text you gave it. Now, sometimes you won't get the output you expect. So you can change the prompt and regenerate the content. And you might get another and a better answer. So the language model is here used in GPT-4 is made up of parameters or weights, which we say in technical language. So initially, these parameters have random values. And if you are prompted, then it would return something gibberish values. So if you train the model by passing a large corpus of data, like English Wikipedia, common crawls, which is web crawl data, and some other data source, it adjusts these parameters as a part of the training process. So there is not a particular set of training data which you needed here in the large language model. So when you prompt it, it doesn't possibly give you something from a training data which you have fixed it and placed it. So in order to be more clear about it, what is a language modeling? Which returned a text similar to the pattern which is put into the put it as a training data set which is available in the large corpus of the data. These language model use large language model from billions and millions of parameters. So the parameters are not similar parameters. It can be some unique unidentified parameter or pattern also it can recognize. That is GPT-4. So GPT was the first language modeling, but now in GPT-4, it is the large language modeling. It does not, it doesn't only work with the word, but it can also, which the word which I told you, if you remember in the previous slides that the sentence is divided into words which are called tokens. And here in GPT-4, what it does, it basically, if you see here, I'll show you some example. Okay. So large data source, all these things I have to, I'll just show you some example here. Okay. So if you see this example, so it works with a part of the word instead of a single word, which is known as token. And tokens are around 4 character long. For example, this I just put an example in the GPT-3 and try to understand, and same word I type. So I made up one word which was not existing in the dictionary. And that word is this, over Pythonized. Now this word is not available in dictionary on the net. There's no word actually like this. So what, though when I try to search this word actually in the Google, surprisingly, it says that it claims that the word does not appear anywhere in the vast internet. But somehow it also said that somewhere it gave me some hint and all. In Bing, it said it is there. But in Google, it said it's not there. This word does not exist and all. But you have created this word and you know how it means. So I remember that Three Idiot where he create, hyperradualization, something like that word. And he said that this word does not exist. Is my friend's name. Similarly, if you have, I have created this word called over Pythonized. Now, this word, the main idea of this word is that it in GPT-4, it uses not the entire word, but part of the word, which is 4 or 5 letters into tokens, which is called subword, which was not available in GPT-3. So now the idea behind it is subword tokenization. So your model can learn nothing about over Pythonized from its training data, because in training data, you will have dictionary data where in the dictionary it will find that this word doesn't work. Okay, but if it break the word into subword, then you can see over and then Python. So Python and ISD. So what it will do is the Pythonized. So here, the subword breaking into this entire word which does not exist and say that this word does not exist, we don't understand. The GPT-4 will break it into subword and try to understand it. That means to say that if the word or the content is not available, the training set data, if it doesn't find any similarity, still it can predict. That's a kind of thing, technology or advancement in GPT-4 it has come. So not necessarily the pre-trained data only is useful here. It can be trained on data which is not available from the large corpus of data. Okay, like for example, it includes the English Wikipedia as most of the important sources. So the training involve the computation, training involve trying to break down the word even if it is not available on the net. It try to break down, try to understand further, transform the word into by understanding the architect of the word. Okay, so this is something which it does. I will show you the same thing in the site also, where I will take you to the site and we will try to understand from there. So GPT-3 had actually was very simple. Objective was very simple, that given a kind of a particular token, which I have already explained you, it can predict the next word, like I have shown you about in the form of few shot learning, zero shot, and the cheese example. So this is a casual and auto-regressive language model which was used in GPT-3. GPT-4 also works similar to how predictive text work. For example, if you type here, I will show you an example here. Like for example, if I type roses and the next word to be what it should be. So if I write roses are, and below that, if I write violet are, I'm not giving any kind of one-shot learning. It's a zero-shot learning. where I just put a blank, roses are, and below that, violet are. I try to understand what I want as an output. There is no few shot learning or one shot learning here. To make the algorithm understand the pattern. So as soon as I type, and as a human being, when somebody says, like even in the child, when the child knows about it, we just go and we prompt. Roses are, violet are, and immediately the child say, roses are red, violet are. So similarly, this language modeling work on that concept, which returns intelligent prediction, which is not based, sometimes not based on a pattern we are providing. Or you are using you are using a kind of a training data or a pattern to make the GPT-3 generate the content similar to that pattern. So it may recognize from the vast thing that if you're using roses are and violet are, it means that, and accurately it will give you that word. So this language modeling, which takes text as an input and a prompt, text can be a prompt, like you ask anything, which is a prompt in the form of text, and give you a text as an output. This was a case of GPT-3 and GPT 3.5. But now it turns out that GPT-4 is multimodal. This means that it can take an input from more than one source, which can either be text or text and image data. Initially in GPT-3 3.5, image data was not taken as an input, but now it has become a multimodal. So try to understand the difference. It can take the text in the form input in the form of text or image data and give you the text output, but as a text. So until now, till yesterday when I was doing this particular, learning, it told like that it will take the input from text and image data, okay, and it will convert that in the form of output, which will be in the text. So OpenAI is a research company which has created this GPT-4 model, and OpenAI research wanted to demonstrate how capable is GPT-4 model and as compared to the human being. Because in GPT-3 you had certain kinds of challenges and limitation. So they tested GPT-4 on some high school exams in US, like SAT, advanced placement, post-graduation exam like GRE, okay? Now these exams that are used regularly in US, they also tested in some of the professional exams in the US, like bar exam for which test the knowledge and skills of lawyers before they are given the license to practice the law. The green bar, if you see, the result is this. This is available. I'll show you this in their site itself. This entire thing is available. This is the paper, the entire paper you can see here. I just took a screenshot of that and put it here. Some of the bars, if you see, there are two bars colors. One is green. Three colors are there: dark green, light green, and blue. Okay. So the green bar represent the GPT-4 model performance. Okay. And you can see that there are two shades of green. Some bars are regular green and other are dark green. Okay. Now this is because some exam question require the exam taker to look at both the question in the form of text and the associated figure or the image in this case. So GPT-4 model, which can take both text and image as an input, was used in this particular test. So GPT-4 was used to take this test. Other exams only require text as an input. Most of the exam require text as an input. So the different shades of greens are to distinguish between these models. The blue represent the previous generation of the model before GPT-3.4, like GPT 3.5 maybe. And along the x-axis, there are different exams which are there. You can see all these exams names are there. So from the left, we have AP Calculus, then AMC, which is a high school mathematics exam in US. English literature, the bar exam, and on the y-axis you have percentile. Okay, so if you are ranked in the 85th percentile here, in between this 85th percentile, this means that your score was higher than 85% of the people taking the test. The GPT-4 model performed the worst and is in the bottom 10 in the high school English literature and language exam, and some of the high school mathematics exam. So let us take the bar exam as an example, which is the sixth in the vertical, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this one, this if you see. So this vertical bar from the this graph is saying that GPT-4 model scored in the top 10% of the taken. In this, it is highest in the bar exam. Now it will be, let's be more clear about it. Huh? This doesn't mean that GPT-4 is going to be better in in taking the lawyer exam, and or GPT-4 is better than 90% of the people who take the law exam. If being a lawyer meant you had to take a bar exam every day, GPT-4 would be better than most of the lawyers. That means that it performs better than most of the lawyers who are expert in this, because all kind of expertise, knowledge, it will take it from there. So the large language model are excellent. The difference in, as I said, the GPT-4 uses the large language model. Large language model is excellent in memorizing and retaining subject matter knowledge, where they are trained on this data. A good chunk of the bar exam is all about subject matter knowledge. But they're the host of real world tasks, the lawyer bar exam. So the lawyer need to be able to work with a wide variety of different clients. Okay, if we talk about if this particular test to gather evidence and cases, that what kind of sources of information they have. They required, to being it required, to connect, talk to various people, find information, and in order to get in, information, they need to win the trust to assure them that they can, and also the client, they need to build a trust in the client to assure that they can win the case for them. So these interaction, which made up day-to-day activity of average lawyer, is being measured. And a big takeaway from this GPT-4 match human level performance across most of the high school exams was the bar lawyer exams. So considering the performance from GPT 3.5 and exactly in GPT-4 that it is far more better than that, you can say that this large language model perform better, and it is multitasking. It's a multi-model. It can acquire the model using the reinforcement learning. It can also, do a test which is multiple choice questions in any of the technologies like science, technology, STEM, which we say, engineering, maths. It can match the human level of performance across all the exams. So GPT-4 is going to become a very popular example. As I said, that not only it will take into the consideration the large corpus of the data, but it can also, GPT-4 has one more characteristic which I wanted to tell you, that it can understand and work with other language. So when these questions are, any questions you take in the exam, suppose the exams you've taken in English, it is easy. But when you take the exam and translate into the other language, can you still get the same result? So it is the same in case of GPT-4 when they tested. The result was very, the result was better in the language like Italian, Spanish, German, and French, because these are the most used language or popular language in the book, in the online exam, and with the people. And GPT-4 can be well trained on this language. Other language like Welsh, Swahili, these have very less data available to train the model. So the performance of test in these language were little lower. Okay. So, OpenAI has decided that uh, it's going to not share the information and certain kinds of information in Word, the technical information now. Initially, it was actually giving all kind of information about the technique used in GPT or the technique used in GPT 3 till 3.5. They gave that so that people will have a better understanding. But now for GPT 4, they didn't give any kind of a thing. So I'll show you that before I wind off the session. So let me go to this. Now, the last point, after that, I will show you the demo of that, and I'll show you, take you to the sites. Uh, let us see how GPT-4 is trained. You know, what is a kind of a training and how the GPT-4 is trained. Okay. What data sets are used, how it is trained. The GPT-4 technical report is available in some of the site, which I'll show you, which reveal that model was fine-tuned using reinforcement learning from human feedback. Okay, so most models are trained by trying to minimize some loss functions. I told you, it uses a large language model, try to determine if the text that is generated is available or not available. Is it good or is it bad? Is it widely used or less used? What does it mean? So if you get a feedback from people, it started actually taking a lot of feedback from internal and external people from the organization to measure how good the text generation by the large language model can optimize the model. So reinforcement learning is from the human feedback. So it is called RLHF, a very important term in generative AI. You all should know about it. So it's called reinforcement learning from human feedback, RLHF. Please learn this. Okay, there's one article on this on the net which is available. You can read that. So again, one more article in 2022, which is called the training language model to follow up the instruction with human feedback has come. This OpenAI provided information how, in that particular audit, it have provided information that how reinforcement learning from human feedback can be used for GPT-3 or GPT, any version of the GPT. So this particular paper has given 3 steps. The step 1 is this, step 2 and all. You can go to the site and you can check that. So let us look at the first step over the left, which is this one, okay, and see what it means. So the open research team would create a prompt, let's say explain, let's say we create a prompt. Explain moon landing to a 6-year-old in GPT. Then what happens after that when you give a prompt to GPT? Then a labeler, second step, here in the first step itself. A labeler, that's a person who's skilled with working with the text data, would then write out what the model should produce as an output. So for example, they may include details like when it took place, like it took place in 1969, the space, what was the name of the spaceship, like Apollo 11, who were the 2 astronauts, like Neil Armstrong, Wade, Aldrin. They became the first human being to walk on the moon, right? They would also have 10 of thousands of such examples. After this, researcher will typically fine tune this researcher. I'm telling you the fine tune the model. And what we mean by fine tuning is that they would pass both the prompt and the expected output from the labeler for each prompt to GPT-4 model and train it. This means after some training for a given prompt, like explain the term moon landing to 6-year-old, the GPT-4 model gets better to produce output that resemble what a labeler would have written. Like, for example, if you want to write, explain the moon landing, you can write in a difficult language. But if you say explain moon landing to a 6-year-old person, 6-year-old means that is a child. So how you can create a content which is understandable by a 6-year-old So here the labeler is going to work. Okay. Next, the researcher took a fine tuning model. Then it take a new process. So summarize the entire article in a form that it gives you a better output, produce an output which resembles the prompt accurately, and create the content for that. For that, the labeler has to label it. Okay. So this is how it is. Like, for example, I just took it an example. I went to open AI and put explain the landing to 6 year. So it has given me this, that these are the labels which it gives. So there is a point to notice here called instruct GPT. I'll talk about that. So the again, one more example I will take here. Okay. So let's say summarize, we have come to the form and prompt, and we prompted summarize the following news article. Let's say we want to have a article and research on parrots and the sound they make, the parrot and the sound they make. So now what will happen? They will get this fine-tuned model to generate 5 different summaries output of the news article. Okay, this is the second steps of it. Okay, I'll tell you about this later. So they would get a fine-tuned model, generate 5 different output of the articles on this, the parrots and their sounds. And labeler is a person after generating. In GPT-3, they just used to generate the content. But in GPT-4, they have one more step called labeler. The labeler will then rate each of the summary from 1 to 7 using this interface. This entire example is available on a site I will show you. And for GPT-4, the OpenAI researcher who also want to make sure that the model follow the instruction accurately and understand, and does not generate a content which is not according to the construct. It does not fabricate the information. So the labeler is a step after the instruction. The labeler had to give whether that particular text, which is multiple text generated, is a correct output or not. For that, the labeler will go through these kinds of answers in yes and no. It happens very fast. 2 questions to address in summary. So they have to answer question like, did the model fail to follow the task? Did the output contain unappropriate content? Sometime it will have that. They ended up with a ranking of the 5 different. So if suppose if I have asked for the parrot article and it has generated me the 5 different article with the 5 different content, so this will be rated. And after rating, it will rank all those 5 articles. Okay. And after, like, for example, it will look like this. It is there in that. So this is a 5, content which is generated, and the ranking is done. Okay. So the screenshot of the labeling, you can see from the bottom 3 boxes, this one, and this one. Okay. These are the article which is already ranked. And the top 2 are one that the labeler. So these 3 were discarded now. And these are the 2 which are the top 2 one. And labeler is going to work on this. They're now over in the, so this ranking of the article is used to train another model called reward model. And the reward model will take the input of these 2, okay, from the ranking and generate a content and return a output. So the reward model is now again fine-tuned with 2 different input, which is ranked by the labeler. And the final step over the right force now is the reinforcement model. So I just told you this ranking and the rewarding model. So after ranking, what it does, the top 2 will go into reinforcement model. The reinforcement learning will optimize the language model, which is also called reward model here, and generate a text which has no toxic, which will fine tune the text further and generate a text which will be very accurate and which will receive a positive human feedback. That means the person who wants an output will be very, very near an accurate output he will get. He will get what he wants. Okay. So that is one thing which I wanted to tell you. So this is how it becomes. So what is the skill required for this? Okay, fine. I will just come to last slide where I will tell you that. Okay, what is an opportunity or the career in the this field? Okay, let's look into some of the career which I just got it from a firm, the analyst firm called Gartner, and they did a survey and they came out with some kind of a thing, and they said also that $4 trillion revenue will be generated from generative AI. So I'll just show you something. Okay, fine. It's not there. So I'll just quickly give you the demo. Give me a few seconds. Okay, fine. Okay. Can you see the screen? So you can see here, I just did with GPT-3 certain chat GPT-3 certain content. So I initially in the content, I had asked them about Lata Mangeshkar. I said, write something. So you can see that it is giving me an error in output. Lata Mangeshkar is right. And it's written here. And there's no information about that she is no more. So I just wrote here. Okay. So you can see here as Lata Mangeshkar died. So what is the answer which is given? As of my knowledge, cutoff of September 2021, Tamageshkar was alive. However, as I am a AI language model, do not have access to real-time information. I cannot confirm current status. This is the limitation. Whatever is available for Lata Mangeshkar, the information is available till 2021. But that's again wrong. Because Lata Mangeshkar information about her death and all, everywhere is there in the net if you find from Google. This was one of the drawbacks. But if I read, no, it is available and all, it will say. There's also one more thing before I wind up the session. If you see here, this is GPT-4 OpenAI. Please go through this. It's there in the OpenAI. The information is available. I just want to show you one article on this. Yes. Go through this article, GPT-4. And in this example only, I try to put it in my thing. So this is a research on GPT-4. It's very important to all of you. This example I have shown you on different exams. So you can see here the result more clearly. That how many, in terms of GPT-4 with no vision and 3.5, say 3.5 gave the accuracy level of 213 here. You can go through this, just read this. And these are the other kind of exams. 3 shot accuracy of language modeling, visual input. These are certain things like, what is this funny image about? For example, if you put an image to the GPT-4 and describe it panel by panel, you have to give the instruction properly. And it says image shows a package for lightning cable. Panel 1 is this, panel 2 is this, panel 4 is this. It gives you information. So that's one thing which is new thing. Okay. You can say, for example, if you ask what's the sum of average daily meat consumption of Georgia, Western Asia, provide step-by-step reasoning, it gives you this. Okay. Like this, you can see a lot of examples. Mathematical models and okay. So now here I end my session. And if there is any question, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll wind up the session.
Ma'am, this is the director this side. At the outset, of course, we went through the session. It was really very informative. There is a couple of things which I would like to ask. Don't you think so, ma'am, that the information is so freely available? It will definitely affect the research process in the long run, the amount of, the research which the students do. Now they are getting a ready-made data. So will it affect the research value which is there presently and in future? It will be more of a just downloaded stuff. And you cannot have a plagiarism check also because it is so realistic. So what is your take in this, ma'am?
Now, one thing is that because as the thing is becoming a big concern for universities and for content writers and for software developers, people are saying there's a lot of copyright issues also which is happening, that ultimately it is the work of other which is compiled and summarized. So you are not giving any credit to that person. But so what is happening is Tarantin is a software which is a plagiarism software, and it has come out with a version now, the new improved version, which can now detect a particular research paper which is written through chat GPT-3 or GPT-4, whatever it is, and it can identify AI written and human written, content. So people who want to use or misuse can be found. And again, then there are certain countries which are trying to ban, especially for university students. Like Italy has recently banned GPT-3 use, but GPT-3 is fighting it out and saying that it can be beneficial, but at the same time, the creativity in the students are something which will stop, because students will not have to now think to critical analysis. They will just go to GPT-3 and write anything and present it. So there are many other software which are available, like for example, Beautiful AI. You can go and create a PPT. You just write a content, and it will create the entire PPT for you. Beautiful, better than human being. It will extract and it will make an original PPT. So where is the thinking and reflecting thinking, critical thinking? All these will go off. That's the reason why Elon Musk said that now the objective is died of OpenAI. Let's see in the future how it progress. Okay, because the rules and regulation will come definitely where people. So already there are software, the checking software have included those features to detect the AI written content.
Thanks, sir. Thanks.
Yeah, any other questions, students? Quickly write now what other session you want, so that after that I can wind off. Do you want a session in AI? Do you want a session in any other? Please write down.
Ma'am, have you taken the session on robotics till now? No.
So can I take a session next on RPA, robotic process automation?
No, students, you have to tell this.
Students, write in the chat box. Do you want an RPA? Very important topic now. Robotic process automation.
Harinakshi madam, are you there?
Sir.
Harinakshi madam, why don't you write a mail to all the franchisees and just try to, take a list of sessions which they are interested in, and whatever is the proficiency of ma'am and whatever is the proficiency of other experts, you can give them, then it will be more effective, no ma'am? I think help out, madam. What is it that the team wants? What is it that the franchisee and the students want? Take it on Monday or Tuesday, and then, based on their expertise, they can take it up. Is it possible, Ainakshi madam?
Okay, sir, I will send a mail today only.
Please.
Once I get the reply, I will contact madam.
So, ma'am, what we will do is, instead of they telling you, we will send an official mail from Kionix by the training manager. And what we will do is we will ask them to list out the topics. Then, ma'am, you can take the topic as per your convenience and schedule your sessions, ma'am. I think, will that be better, ma'am? Will that be more comfortable for you?
Yes, we can do that. Otherwise, I'll take on RPA. How program instruct on machine to work? Last question I will take, and I'll wind up the session. Sure. Machine programs are written only by human. So machine are at present taking instruction from human in the form of programs. Okay. Okay, then I should leave now. So getting too late, you can just mail me, or otherwise I will take on RPA. Okay, robotic process automation. Next class.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam. And thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Quickly, I think you people don't log out. Madam can log out. You people don't log out. We are still here. See, there are a couple of concerns. Now, let me tell you, on 2nd of May, which is on Tuesday, you will be expected to have an evaluation done for the month of April. And let me tell you, it is going to declare the star of the month on 2nd, star of the month of April. Now, similarly, 4 months of star, and then we will have Kionic star. That is Kionic star franchisee, Kionic star L2, and Kionic star trainer. Now, as of today, as I am talking, I have got only, inputs from 1 or 2 franchisees. Now, you will lose out drastically if you don't send a report latest by tomorrow or by first morning. Okay, you will lose out. You will not get it. Apart from that, there are a couple of franchisees who are, writing to us that, there are some L2s who are traveling and they say that we want 30 days. No, we have given you very, very clearly that you have a 400-hour session. Let me make it once again very clear. You have a 400 hours of session. Out of that, 160 hours are expert. About 100 to 120 hours are L2. And remaining is practical and application. Now, practical and application is the work of your L4. Now, I am very sorry to say, till date, many of the franchises have not sent us the L4 list. If I don't get this list by 2nd morning, you are straight away out of the star race. That means it is giving me a very clear picture that you don't have a faculty in your center. So if you are not having a faculty in your center, what training are you doing? While Kionics is giving you support of L1 and L2, you have your own trainers. They are supposed to help the students on assignments. They are supposed to help the students on various aspects which the L1 and L2 are giving. If you don't have an L4, you don't stand to become our franchisee. If you don't have a faculty, the basic requirement of a franchisee is you should have a faculty. So through these sessions, your faculty can also get trained, and in return, they can train the students. What is that? I don't see it happening in the month of April. So these are some of the discussions we will have on 2nd of May. Please come prepared. You will have my session between 3 to 5, where the star of the month of April will be announced. MD and DO sir will also attend that session. It is the first session of evaluation. They will attend. So please send all your reports for the month of April, latest by day after tomorrow, so that my team can collate it on 2nd morning and we can review this. Am I clear? Am I clear? If I am clear, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.